Welcome to Wednesday. It is the 26th day of January 2022. Yes, I know it's January. Sorry that I said it was February yesterday, but today we'll get the date correct because yesterday we didn't necessarily get the weather correct in a couple of locations, and we'll show you that here in a minute. This podcast brought to you by Chugwater Chili, the gourmet spice of Western life. Check out Chugwater Chili seasoning. They've got original or hot. It's great for chili tacos and more. Use Chugwater Don at checkout for 20% off at chugwaterchili.com. Chugwater Chili, the gourmet spice of Western life. Well, we've got more of the same weather coming, as this is going to sound like a broken record with the way the pattern's evolving here for the next 48 hours. A surprise snow dump in parts of Colorado or Kansas. That's what I was referring to, amounts of snow. We'll show you a map here in a minute that were just incredible, and no one saw it coming. Not even the modeling very close into this event, but there are some parts of Colorado and northwest Kansas that had over 2 feet of snow from this Alberta clipper. We'll show you where that happened. We have another clipper system tonight and Thursday. Now, it's not nearly of the intensity as the last one, but there's another little light snow event and some flurries coming tonight and Thursday, and another shot of cold Canadian air. However, it's going to be another good weekend of weather. If you were not able to get out last weekend to go skiing or snowmobiling or just doing some chores outdoors, we've got another good weekend for that coming on up. It won't be perfect, but it won't be bad for the last weekend in January. February starts off colder and unsettled. We've been talking about this for better than a week now, that there's going to be a westward shift in the stormy weather into the western United States and colder in February, and that really looks like that's going to happen. We'll show you more about that. Have some great photos to show you. This is from Lori Sturgeon in the Garrett, Wyoming area. The snow staying on the ground there and getting deeper, and a great shot here with the mountains and the sunrise or sunset. And Casper, Chris Bradfield sends us from the Casper area yesterday to show you what happened in the course of 24 hours. The day started off with some snow showers and a little bit of light snowfall, but by afternoon, the clipper was gone. It was sunny and made for a very pretty scene there in the Casper area yesterday. Now, as we take a look at what happened over the last 24 hours, a remarkable band of very persistent and very heavy snow set up along I-70 along eastern Colorado and into northwest Kansas, most notably in the Burlington, Colorado area, and then into Wallace County into northwest areas of Kansas. There are isolated areas here of 12 to 18 to over 24 inches of snow. So it's a very isolated event from a geographic standpoint, a very small, very intense band of a stationary area of heavy snow set up right along this boundary. And what will happen in these situations, the northwest winds aloft that are quite strong with these clippers goes over the Arctic boundary and kind of concentrates the energy and moisture in one spot. And you had a band that went northwest to southeast. It's lining up northwest to southeast, this band of heavy snow, because it aligns with the upper level winds. In other videos, we have talked about how the winds that are strong in the jet stream causes a vertical motion, a lifting motion in the atmosphere. So we just had the right situation of upslope winds on the ground, strong northwest winds aloft, and a concentration of moisture in just one area. This just goes to show you, especially in La Nina years, you can have some wild things happen. Now, the silver lining is this area desperately needed some water and some good amounts of precipitation as it's been so dry in this La Nina pattern. The Burlington, Colorado area, just short of an inch of water equivalent. They haven't seen that much moisture with one storm in a long time. So for winter wheat areas here, just what the doctor ordered, even if it was very localized. Now let's take a look at how things are going to go going forward. We have high pressure here right along the west coast, so northwest winds aloft will continue across most of the United States. There's a little dimple in the jet stream right here. It's a little upper level low. It's the next Alberta clipper that's going to be coming south into the Rockies again. I believe this is the 4th or 5th Alberta clipper in the last 2 weeks. As it moves through, you can see the kink right here in northwest Colorado. Now, this system is not as strong as the last one. The last one was a little more west, and it had a lot more moisture with it. Nonetheless, we will see tonight and through the day Thursday an area of light snowfall in this area here, more concentrated into the mountains of Colorado, even a little bit of snow down into the panhandles here. But not a lot of snow, but enough if traveling tonight or Thursday, be on the lookout for a little bit of snow. Also, for folks traveling Interstate 80 and I-25, there's going to be some increasing wind today, and this is going to be a travel concern. 287 out of Fort Collins to Laramie is another area, and even out here in eastern Colorado, where all that snow fell, with winds picking up a bit over the next 24 to 48 hours. If you're going to be traveling in some of the open areas, there's going to be some blowing snow, so watch out for that. As we go forward into the weekend brings high pressure and moderating temperatures into the west. This upper low here in California will make it windy in California, but will only produce a few showers. What's going to be grabbing headlines this weekend is this bad boy right here. We are going to see January in with a bang in the metro areas of the northeastern United States. So if you watch the weather channels, if you watch the cable news channels, you're going to be hearing a lot about this storm as we get into the weekend. Talk about picking on the metro areas of the East Coast here. Look at these snow totals, and I tell you folks, these snow totals may be somewhat conservative. These are just 10-to-1 ratios of water equivalent. We're talking about upwards of 1 to 2 feet of snow maybe in New Jersey. Getting down here, maybe even into parts of D.C. Look at Long Island. Look at New York City. Look at Boston. So this could snarl things up at airports this weekend, and that could extend into early next week. As we look forward, as we've been talking, high pressure starts to build by early February along the East Coast. High pressure gets better anchored in the Eastern Pacific, and look what happens. A trough develops in the western United States while a ridge develops in the east. So what'll happen is this will be the big melt. They're going to see a much warmer pattern developing early next week. When that happens, that means it gets colder in the west. And with high pressure building and even extending up further into the north slope, you're going to displace Arctic air up here and want to push it south. So as we get into the early parts of February, here comes the colder air, and also there's going to be some snow with this situation. Now, this is by next Tuesday, the first day of February. This is by the week after next Thursday. Notice there's very little change over a 10-day period. So this is all the way out to February 10th. This is February 1st. This is a very persistent pattern, and if it gets anchored with the ridge up into the North Atlantic all the way up to Greenland, and if this ridge gets anchored off the Pacific coast, well, the concentration of cold air is right into the western United States. Southwest winds will make the east warmer. Northwest winds will make the west colder. Now, the big question will be the intensity of the cold and how long it lasts, but certainly we see it coming. And look at these temperatures relative to average. This is by Monday, February 7th. Anywhere you see purple, temperature deviations from average are as much as 30 degrees Fahrenheit or more colder than the 30-year normals. Look at Canada and the lower 48 states. I mean, this is cold. This is really, really cold. Look what happens on February 8th. Tuesday, February 8th, the week from this Tuesday. Look at the penetration of the sub 30 degree relative to average temperatures along the Gulf Coast. So when you look at this, you get some deja vu from what happened a year ago in February of 2021. So we're going to keep an eye on it for you. We have to put a big question mark on this because this is a very long-range forecast. We'll keep an eye on it for you, but February could be a very interesting month with the weather, energy prices, and everything across the central and western United States. So lots going on weather-wise after we get through this week. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.